phones on mute. And during the presentation, we really want to hear from you. So use the chat feature to ask us any questions. Welcome again.
And guys, you might have to click more in order to access your chat. I'm not really sure what it looks like on your end, but
yeah, depending on your device, you may have the three dots that say more, and you'll find the chat there.
So let's go ahead and get started.
Right.
Hey, so welcome to Gwynedd Mercy University. As Meredith mentioned, I am Allison Whalen, an academic coach and academic advisor at the university. Just want to give you guys a little bit of a heads up of what to expect for this University Expectations presentation. So we're going to start off talking about transitioning to Gwynedd Mercy. We'll discuss Griffin etiquette, where to find important information, understanding important course documents, using self-service and Blackboard, maintaining good academic standing, knowing your resources, and important dates and deadlines to remember.
And as Meredith had mentioned, I'm Kim Logan, also an academic advisor and academic coach in the Academic Resource Center. And I think many of you may have received some emails from me because I'm also the coordinator for the First Year Experience program. So we'll get to hopefully meet face-to-face next week for those of you who are able to come onto campus and join your FYE classes next week. So today we have with us, we have students who are coming directly from high schools around the nation. We have students who are coming from other institutions of higher learning. And hopefully we also have some family members, parents, sisters, brothers, you know, whoever you wanted to join in with you on this Zoom meeting today. So even though this semester is not going to look the way that we had expected maybe a year ago or even 6 months ago, honestly, maybe even 3 months ago, we do have a lot to look forward to. So if you can access your chat feature, I want to give you guys just a couple minutes to just give us some ideas of what are some of the things that you're looking forward to about the fall semester. And OLs, feel free to join in too, because you've got some things to look forward to as well.
Okay, so people are excited about living on campus. People are excited about meeting new people, different sports, learning more, starting nursing courses, lots of meeting new people, which is so exciting to hear. Furthering knowledge, making new experiences. I would say though that meeting new people and making new friends seems to be the most common response here. Somebody said using the library.
Yay.
That's our favorite buildings. That's where all of our offices are housed when we are working on campus.
Very good. Well, I will say that while many of you, coming to Gwynedd is new to you, this whole semester is new to all of us. And we've been doing a lot of planning to make this whole remote idea and hybrid approach work for everybody. And I have to say, just seeing all of the students' faces today is really helping me with my anxieties, because it's getting really exciting now, and it's a good kind of excitement. So it's so good to see students on campus again. I don't know if you can see me doing my air quotes. I don't know whose faces come up right now, but I was air quoting. Anything else there, Meredith?
I was actually responding to them. Yeah, exploring major and meeting new people and the sports.
Awesome. All right, we will move forward.
Okay, so Griffin etiquette will look a little bit different this year, as will mostly everything else in the year 2020. Important things to know about getting to campus. There is a pre-screening survey that you are required to fill out every time you come onto campus. So this pre-screening survey will ask you questions like, have you recently had a fever? Have you recently had a cough? Have you been around anybody with a fever or a cough? And it's really important that you fill that form out before you come to campus each time. So you're going to want to do that first thing in the morning to make sure that the information is as accurate as possible. And when you are on our gMercyU portal, you will see the small thermometer icon on your Launchpad, and that is where you will be able to access the form. Additionally, you want to allow some time to actually getting onto campus. There is a gate at the front of campus where each car, their temperature will be checked. So you just want to give yourself ample time if there is a line, particularly in the first couple of days of class. Want to make sure that you are Zooming like a pro. So be mindful of what is in your background. We're keeping things 100% professional when we are engaged in our classes. And it is recommended that you keep your camera on. There's so many things that we are going to be missing out on when we're not able to be on campus together. So a good way to kind of stay engaged and become familiar with your classmates and your peers is to be able to see them on camera and engage in class discussion with them that way. Effective communication is always important, but additionally, so in this remote learning environment. So when you are reaching out via email to instructors or campus offices, very important that you are considering your email more like a letter than a text message. I know how easy it is to fall into the texting feel of sending an email if you're doing it from your phone, but always a nice salutation, hello, Dr. So-and-so. You want to be concise and to the point in your message, and then don't forget to sign off with a thank you and your name. During class discussions that will be online, I know it will be easy to feel kind of removed from your classmates, but it is important that you are also remaining respectful and professional in your class discussions as well. Though you might not be seeing your classmates face-to-face this semester, you will be seeing them face-to-face hopefully next semester and definitely in the future. So always remaining respectful is very important.
So there is going to be, with any, movement to a new organization, there's going to be a lot of important information for people to be aware of. And while we don't expect you to memorize the information, we do expect that you know where to look for that information. So we have a couple different areas where you will be able to find different types of information on campus. One of the most important places for you to be, to kind of navigate is your portal. So the my.gmercyu.edu brings you to that gMercyU portal. And when you come to the landing page on there, you're gonna see a section called My Messages. These messages, this is our best way of mass communication, and the messages are targeted. So you might see messages there for students only, or first-year students only, or transfer students only, or commuter students only. So that's where you would go to find information that we sometimes come up with the excuse of, I didn't see that, I didn't know about that, but that's where that is. That's where that information would be. So check those portal messages. And I will caution, there are going to be some things that aren't, that you're not interested in and maybe don't apply to you, but there are going to be a lot of things that do. So check your portal messages there. Also on the portal, over to the left-hand side, under navigation, that's where you see all your icons. But just below that, there's going to be an area called where you can click on publications. And in the publications, you're going to find the undergraduate catalog. So a lot of our academic policies are outlined in that catalog, as well as program information. So if you are, wanting to know more about your own program or wanting to look at other programs, even before you reach out to someone like myself or Allison to ask, questions, you could certainly do that and access that through the undergraduate catalog. The student handbook is also available in that publications tab or publications link. And the student handbook is going to outline some university policies, a lot of policy in there for students who live on campus as well as commuter students. And then you're also going to find your student code of conduct in there. Now, new and unique to this year, we have the COVID update webpage, and that's at It can be found at www.gmercyu.edu/COVID-19. There's an area for students. There's a couple different areas in there, but for students particularly that you're going to find pretty valuable for this semester. So you're going to be seeing some health and safety policies as well as some health and safety updates in that area. And one of the things that we want you to be very, very aware of is to check that area for the remote learning spaces that are going to be available to students. So since we have some classes that will be running in the hybrid fashion, and Allison will talk more about that, you may need a space on campus to come to log into one of your remote classes before or after an on-campus class. So we have asked all the FYE instructors to put an announcement in their Blackboard shells with the remote learning spaces, but they are also on the GMRCU COVID website. Meredith, are you seeing any questions at this point?
I do not, but I was going to say, let's take a quick pause. Does anyone have any questions? If so, please put them in the chat. Okay, I'm not seeing anything, Kim.
Okay, great. We're covering it all. That means, oh, something.
Wait, I spoke too soon. Thank you so much. Let's see, this may be under the COVID information you just shared. I'm just waiting for the.
It takes a little while to type, so that's the little disadvantage here.
Can give you my mom email. I'm not sure. We'll keep monitoring that.
Okay, sounds good. Stop us if you need to.
Oh, is there going to be alteration for those who have a fever? It may be easy to miss a day or two of class just because of the fever. Yeah, I think if you have any health concerns, definitely check the guidance on the COVID page. You certainly want to be in touch with your instructors as soon as possible. And you can also and should also work with Donna Ferguson, our Director of Health and Wellness Center. Is there only one way to enter campus and one way to leave as a commuter for drive? Yes. As of right now, we are asking everyone to enter through the Sumneytown Pike entrance. And when you leave campus, you'll be going around using the Griffin Loop Road and coming out on Evans Road. Great questions, everyone. Thank you. That's exactly what this session is for, to help you get acclimated and understand what to expect.
Also, just in case you forget to bring a mask, because we're all required to wear a mask on campus when we're moving around, when we're in the classroom. If you do forget a mask, there will be masks available at that front gate with public safety.
We do have a question about FYE, whether it will be, whether they have to do hybrid or all remote. And I believe we're going to be discussing that during our first FYE class in, what, just about 2 hours?
Yeah.
Where are parking permits available?
So that information, we just asked all of the FYE instructors to add to their announcements, and I'll double check to make sure that they do that today, but there is a link. I believe it would be on the public safety page if you wanted to go directly to it, but that should be in your Blackboard shell for FYE by the end of the day today.
And will there be signs directing commuters where the exit is? And that's a good question, and that I'm not 100% sure about. We can ask the Director of Public Safety if there will be, and if Danielle, if you are still on, maybe if that's something that you could get out for all students, since that's not just a first year student, or just not an FYE student, transfers are gonna need that. Can someone ask if we can explain if we have to leave after Thanksgiving break? And no, I don't believe that has been discussed or mandated at this time. Other colleges are testing students before the semester starts. Does Gwynedd plan on doing this in the upcoming week? I do not believe we are testing students. And if anything changes, make sure you please look at your portal announcements and make sure you read that COVID update on the website. Is there any way to do a Zoom class from the library? Yes, that library has identified spaces, as Kim mentioned, that there are spaces on campus that you can use to participate in your remote classes. If they already registered for a parking pass, when will they receive it? I'm not sure of the timeline for that. That's something we can get back to the students with.
Hi, Meredith. Do you mind if I jump in with that question?
No, please do.
So just a few days ago, all new students and returning students got an email sent through the portal that said that in the first 2 weeks that you would be able to pick up your parking permit at the sign-in gate. When you first drive onto campus, they should be available there for you to pick up.
Perfect.
Great. Let's see here. There's a lot of questions about parking. Are freshmen residents made to park in Hobbit House, or can they park in the triplex lot? And I don't know if there are restrictions this semester and how that is working.
So any questions, it's my understanding, any questions about parking can be directed to public safety staff. And that's actually going to be at the end of that email will be available at the end of this presentation. Public safety staff at gmercyu.edu. They will be handling the parking permits and any policy.
And definitely stay tuned. There are a lot of questions about where you can work, where you can do classes in the library or other remote learning spaces. We're definitely going to get to that a little bit in this presentation and in more detail in our FYE class later this afternoon.
And one other quick question was about free printing in the library, and all students are entitled to a certain number of pages. And again, I'm not sure what that limit is going to be this semester when you have your, if you are a first-year student, traditional first-year student in your FYE class, you will have an introduction to the library and we'll get that information. If you are a commuter, if you are a transfer student, then we can also get you that information, or you can certainly email the library. But it's several hundred pages per semester. And again, we will get to more information about reserving space in the library. And as for the work study, when will that start? I would direct you to financial aid, since they are the one that award work study monies. And can we walk into the library and start studying? No, again, this is going to be a reserve system, which Kim and Allison are going to discuss at the end. These are great questions, you all. Thank you.
Okay, so there will be important course documents, and it will seem like a lot of information the first week. We call that syllabus week, where you learn what to expect in each of your courses. Your syllabus should give you some expectations between you and your instructor, as well as the calendar. So you want to keep tabs on important things like, what is the attendance policy for this class? What dates are big assignments due? Things like that. You will also hopefully have some information about reading assignments, Zoom meetings, and your on-campus meetings. So at the university, we have identified 3 delivery methods for facilitating classes this semester. Most of you are in remote classes. So a remote class means that you need to be available to attend your class session via Zoom on your scheduled class days and times. Your instructor will provide that information to you, like your Zoom links and passcodes and things like that on your syllabus and on your Blackboard shell. For classes that are hybrid, you will be coming onto campus for a face-to-face in-class session throughout the semester. So again, those dates will be published to you on your course syllabus, when you can see which are the dates that classes that I need to be available on Zoom, and which are the classes that I need to be on campus. The last is strictly online classes, which we don't normally have first-year students in, but you may have a completely online class. For instance, Bridge to Mathematics is a completely online course. So that means that you're not required to meet on a Zoom session at any point in time. You will have deadlines and due dates for your assignments, but you're working on that on your own. Your instructor will be available if you have questions. If you need to meet via Zoom for a one-on-one discussion with your instructor, you can certainly reach out to them for that. But you don't need to be available remotely on Zoom for a strictly online class. And I know that it is a little bit confusing because when you're looking at your schedule, it doesn't say hybrid for your meeting information. But if it doesn't say hybrid, if it doesn't say remote, if it doesn't say online, it will be a hybrid class, and you should plan to be ready to go on campus for those scheduled times. Additionally, rubrics are very important to understand. Rubrics give you some objective measurements of how you're going to be assessed for all of your assignments. They will also have a breakdown of what is required for you. So our advice to you is to never sit down to work on an assignment without the rubric sitting next to you, right? You want to work smarter, not harder. So make sure that you are meeting all of those objectives that are listed on your rubric so you can understand how your instructor is going to be grading you.
And I would also say too, if you are coming to the Academic Resource Center to work with our writing specialist or one of our writing tutors, please bring your rubric along with you. They can't do your work for you, but they certainly can help you interpret a rubric and make sure that you're meeting those objectives. So we have something called self-service that is available to students, and I'm hoping at this point most of you have accessed it, if for nothing else other than to see what your schedule is for the fall. When you are in the GMRCU portal and you're in that little navigation area where there's a bunch of icons, when you scroll over this little guy, who I like to call a church, but I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be an institution of higher learning, you'll see that it says colleague self-service. So you have access to that, you click on that. And all you need to get to this site, again, is the access to the GMRCU portal. And that is with your student ID, last name, mostly for most people, last name, dot, first initial. If your last name's Smith, it might be dot, first initial, 14. You know, you might be the 14th John Smith to come through Gwynedd. So that's how you will access that information.
Important things that you do on self-service is degree planning. So you can actually make a plan for all of the semesters that you are at Gwynedd Mercy University and plan the classes that you're going to be taking for each semester. Obviously, this is tentative, and you're going to continue to work with your academic advisor to make sure that your timeline is accurate. But you will be able to see all of the classes that you will need to take in order to graduate. You will also be able to view your schedule and see your advisor's name. We have a little snapshot of that in the next slide so you can see exactly where to access that. It's very important for you to know who your advisor is so that you know how to get in touch with them. You will also be able to see a finances tile on your self-service, and that will give you information like you'll be able to see your financial aid award letter there. You will be able to pay your bills there. And then after this first semester, you will also be able to view an unofficial transcript on self-service. So you can see all of the grades that you earned this first semester, the number of credits that you earned, and you'll be able to see your semester GPA. If you at any time need to access an official transcript, you can order one via the registrar's website. And we will, through FYE, be sharing some more important information about self-service and how to register once we get closer to those dates.
And also for transfer students, well, for all students, the registrar does keep us up to date about registration information, even though we will walk our first year students through during one of our FYE sessions this semester. There will be information on the registrar's page and through the portal messages from the registrar about registration as we approach it. We don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves just yet. All right, I'm going to move forward. So just going back to what Allison said, one of the things that's going to just be very, very important for you guys as you begin your classes next week is to make sure that you know who your advisor is. So I will say that many people in the nursing program may not have necessarily registered for classes with their actual advisor, and you have since been assigned an advisor. So you want to make sure that you go into that self-service and click on your student planning tile, click on plan and schedule, and then that advising tab to identify who your advisor is. During this first week of classes, should something change with your schedule, or you find there's a reason why you might need to move your classes around, it's your advisor who you're going to need to discuss this with, so that you can drop and add courses and make sure that things are that what you're interested in doing will work for you as a student as you're planning your degree. So this is the area right here. I don't know if you can see where it says my advisor is Joanna Raudenbush. That's where you would find your advisor. Also, I just want to mention that right below that, there's an area where you can compose a note in self-service. I do recommend that you also, if you compose a note in there, that you also do copy that note and send it in an email to your advisor as well. How are we doing on questions, Meredith?
We are getting asked about lab kits. So I did email the dean of the School of Nursing, and she said that I was trying to type this back. They do not do nursing lab kits. All supplies for skills lab are in the lab. I haven't heard from the Dean of Arts and Sciences yet about chemistry or bio labs. I do believe they're using kits, but since each class is doing something or can be handling it differently, I do recommend you email your instructor right away and ask about the lab kits. This also will help you get used to having that connection with the instructor and getting the most accurate information. If I hear anything else that's more general, I will certainly put it in the chat feature. But I always recommend talk to the professor of the course as soon as possible with some of these very specific questions. And
yes.
The other question was about the bookstore, ordering books about a week ago, and do we know how long it will take for them to arrive? And that is not something I'm aware of. Certainly, you can email the bookstore, the campus store. I don't know if Danielle or if anyone else here has had any communication with the campus store to see the timeline for delivery of books.
I have not.
No, I know we got a list. We did get a list. I got a list recently, actually it was this morning, that there are still a few books that the store was waiting for, but they were not special orders. They were for specific classes. So I think that everything is slightly delayed, unfortunately, due to COVID, but for specific course books, I would email campus store.
Okay.
All of your classes have a Blackboard shell. Blackboard is the double B icon on your Launchpad on your MyGMRCU portal. So it's going to be very important that you become familiar with Blackboard. This is also where you went to take your placement test. So everybody has kind of tooled around there a little bit so far. You'll see announcements from your instructors on Blackboard on that very first page. And hopefully those announcements also come to your email if the instructor sends them to email. But it's important that you're just touching base in each of your Blackboard shells to make sure you're not missing any important information via announcements. You will find information about your assignments, when they are due, what they entail, readings. You will have discussion boards where you will likely respond to a discussion question from your instructor and then have to give a response to one of your peers in a timely fashion in order for those discussion boards. You will also be able to view PowerPoint slides from class discussions to review later on, see grades for your assignments. And the last important thing about Blackboard is whenever you submit an assignment onto Blackboard, it goes through a program called SafeAssign. SafeAssign compares your paper to all of the papers that have ever been submitted from any Gwinnett Mercy student, and it also compares your paper to the great World Wide Web. So it is important that you are citing your information appropriately and using your own words. If you don't, Safe Assign will let your instructor know that there are some commonalities between your paper and somebody else's paper. AKA, long story short, do your own work. Otherwise, we will know.
And Allison loves any opportunity to refer to the World Wide Web. So this is a great opportunity for her. Also, just some of the questions that your specific questions that are coming in about things like lab kits, you may already have the answers to those questions in your Blackboard shells, which you should have access to by now. So that's something that I would recommend that you just kind of tool around with a little later today. Go into each one of those shells, take a look. We are hoping that most course documents like syllabus, the syllabi, and the class calendars will be in the Start Here tab on the left side of Blackboard. So tool around in there and see if you can find answers to some of those specific questions. And then of course, if you can't, then you'll want to email your instructors. So we're excited to announce that we have a course specifically for students, specifically for this semester, this very unique semester that we have coming up here with the different modalities, online, remote, and hybrid courses. We have a Blackboard course called Ready, Set, Remote, and all new students, in fact, all returning students have access to this Blackboard shell. And it is basically a course that's set up to introduce you to Blackboard. So if this is something that you've never seen before, which many people haven't, this is going to give you a brief introduction to the learning management system called Blackboard. It's going to give you some strategies for online learning, and then also lead you to some very important student support resources that are going to be necessary for you to have a successful semester. While this is not a mandatory course for students, it is highly recommended because I think you're going to find a lot of answers to questions that you might have some anxieties about right now as you enter into the this unknown world of remote learning and even just being in a new in a new institution that's unfamiliar to you. So we really, really do recommend this, and we're pretty excited about it. And hopefully you'll be excited about it too.
Maintaining good academic standing is very important information for you guys to know and understand. There are a few different requirements for students. So if after the first semester of your time here at Gwynedd Mercy University, your GPA falls below a 1.8 during your first year when you have less than 30 credits, you could find yourself on academic probation. Once you have more than 30 credits, the minimum threshold for good academic standing is 2.0. So if at any time you fall below that and you end up on academic probation, you have one academic semester to improve your GPA back to good academic standing in order to remain at the university. If in a very unfortunate and unpleasant situation that you should find your GPA below a 1.0 during the first semester, unfortunately, you will be automatically dismissed from the university. So it's very important to be keeping tabs on what your grades are throughout the semester. 15 weeks is going to go very quickly. You don't want to wait till week 10 to try and figure out what your grade is in your class, right? So we're hoping that all of our instructors are using Blackboard, that your grades and everything are very transparent. But just know that you can always reach out to your instructor to ask them what your grade is, or you can refer to your syllabus to take a look at what the breakdown of assignments are and get a little bit of a better understanding about what your grades are throughout the semester. Our rule of thumb is one assignment doesn't go the way you expected it to go, one test doesn't go the way that you expected it to go, feel free to reach out to Kim or myself for some academic coaching, or get yourself in touch with a tutor. So good academic standing for students who have less than 30 credits is anything above 1.8. For students who have above 30 credits, 2.0 or greater is good academic standing. And then best case scenario, you end up on the dean's list if you have a 3.5 or greater GPA. Now, this is important, this is applicable if you have 12 or more credits for that semester. And developmental English, developmental math, and actually bridge to mathematics are also exempt from this. So if you're taking some developmental courses and you reach the 3.5, unfortunately you won't make the dean's list, but you can shoot for that again the next semester. Throughout the semester, your instructors will use a program called our Academic Alert System, which will notify you if they're concerned about your academic performance in any way. That letter goes to you via email, it goes to the dean of your school, and it goes to your academic advisor. It actually also goes to your academic coach, the academic coaches as well, including myself. So you will receive an email from either Kim or myself just asking, you know, do you want to sit down and talk about some academic coaching strategies? Would you like to be set up with a tutor? It's important to know that these alerts are not, they're not going to go in your file or anything like that, on your transcript or anything like that, but it is a way for instructors to let you know, hey, you know, it seems like you're struggling. Here are some resources that you can use to get yourself back on track in the class.
Allison, we do have a few questions. Okay, so what letter grade is a 3.5 GPA? And I was just double checking with Kim, I believe 3.33 and above, or
So a 3.5
3.33.
is somewhere between a B+ and an A-.
Right.
I love
And-
calculating GPA, so if anyone wants to email me a specific
really
question,
does.
I'll do it for you all day long.
You'll do it by hand too.
I will do it by hand.
But you don't have to. There are great GPA
I know.
calculators online.
I'm not listening.
Great question. For transfer students, does our GPA from our old school follow us to Gwynedd? Or does our GPA at Gwynedd get based off of the courses just from the Gwynedd Mercy University courses?
That's a really good question. You are going to start off with a clean slate when you start taking classes here at Gwynedd. So your GPA is going to be calculated only by the classes that you completed at the university.
And we are being asked if they have a fall break.
Oh, we'll get to that. I can tell you're excited already. We're going to get there.
We don't want to, we want to keep you guys hanging.
Yeah,
Stay tuned.
always leave
And,
them
oh,
wanting
and
more.
I see we have a participant actually who did respond to the GPA question, so thank you very much for that.
That's great. Moving
Happy
forward.
Halloween, Nick.
All right.
It is
So,
Holidays, Halloween.
Allison had mentioned that if you do get an academic alert, that you can reach out to your resources. I want to talk a little bit about the Academic Resource Center, which is an area where you really can find resources to help you with your courses for a couple different scenarios. So if you feel you're falling behind, or you weren't aware that you were falling behind and your instructor let you know that you are, or if maybe you're just not getting those grades that you were shooting for. So you thought you were going to get an A on your paper or your first test and you got a B, and you know what, you want an A. The Academic Resource Center is here for you. One thing to note is that all of our services are free and unlimited. So anything that you access through the Academic Resource Center has already been taken care of in your tuition, so you will not be paying for any of your appointments. Our tutoring services are offered by successful peers, so students who have already taken the courses that you are getting tutored for or are interested in getting tutored in. They have been interviewed and they come with high recommendations from their instructors. We also have writing and math professionals who that is their full-time job to be a math specialist and a writing specialist, and they also work with our peer tutors, and they're available to work with students directly as well. Myself and Allison are academic advisors and academic coaches, and we've mentioned this before, but what that means is we can help you explore majors. So we do have some students who have come to the university who really have no idea what they want to do. So most likely those students are either my advisee or Allison's advisee. But we also have students who come to the university saying that they want to be maybe a criminal justice major, and after taking a class or two decide, well, actually, I really would like to help people in a different way, maybe social work, something like that. So when you're asking those introductory questions, you can meet with Allison or myself, and we will give you more information about the programs, how your courses would fit into a new program, different resources that can help you make those decisions, and certainly lead you to the right people who you should be talking to. We also help students with general learning skills. So maybe it's not the content of the information that you're having trouble learning in a class. Maybe it's just the way that you're reading the information or processing the information, or maybe you're having trouble with time management. You can come to Allison or myself and we can help you kind of find different strategies based on your own personality, based on your own situation, to be a little bit more successful in your classes. Another office that is included in the Academic Resource Center is the Office of Accessibility Services. And this is really important for students to know, especially right now before classes begin. At the end of this presentation, we will give you the contact information for the Director of Accessibility Services. But if you are eligible to receive accommodations, it's really important that you register with the Office of Accessibility Services so that you can get those accommodations up and running before classes begin. We also have campus accessibility. So if you are in a wheelchair or if you have some other type of device that needs accessibility on campus, our Director of Accessibility Services can give you more information about that.
Kim, we do have a question about tutoring. Someone has asked how busy the tutors get, and is it hard to get appointments with them? Do you mind if I answer this one?
No, go ahead, yeah.
So this fall, we are offering all tutoring virtually. So you will email ARC, A-R-C, at gmercyu.edu to request tutoring. Make sure you include your name, the course that the tutoring's for, and don't just say the subject. Don't just say, I need nursing help. Say, I need help with nursing 319 or whichever section it is. What will happen is the Director of Tutoring Services will forward your email to the different nursing tutors in this, for example, and one of them will reach out to you. Because everything is virtual, it actually might be a little bit easier to get an appointment because you're not going to be working just within the confines of a set schedule. We also have an additional online tutoring service. So if we don't have a tutor to help with a particular subject, or if you write back and say that you were not able to work something out, we do have another backup service. So I don't think anyone should have trouble getting a tutor this fall. You do want to, however, reach out with a couple of days in advance, not just the day before something is due. Give it a couple of days, because the idea of tutoring is to review the concepts that you need help with and then to help you learn it and strengthen it and practice it. Our writing specialist, for instance, does work via email and will work with you on a paper from step one, brainstorming ideas, to the final, draft. But that is not just an overnight process either. And we're being asked the accessibility office's email. You can email Brandy Crawford, the director, at Crawford, CRAWFORD .b@gmercyu.edu, and I will put that in the chat so you can see that.
We also have the email addresses for all of our resources at the end of this presentation.
Yes,
so students can take screenshots, and then they're also going to have access to this presentation in their, the first year students will have access, and certainly we can send access to transfer students as well.
And I do have a few more tutoring questions here. If a student wants to, can they become a tutor in their second semester? And absolutely. If you have at least an A in the subject, or the course that you wish to tutor, reach out to arc@gmercyu.edu. There is an application that you will be asked to fill out, and you will be asked to get at least 2 letters of recommendation from faculty in that content area. And then the director will, invite you to interview and go from there. Another question, great question, is there a way to have consistent tutoring, for instance, having a session every Monday? That is absolutely what we recommend, is to have consistent, regular weekly tutoring sessions. So yes, that is the best way for you to maintain a strong relationship with the tutor and a strong understanding of your course material. Now, sometimes people really only need one or two sessions and they feel confident and they understand how to study or work, with a certain subject. But a lot of students wind up having tutoring regularly and bringing in a classmate or two. So real small groups will work together as well. So you and, 1 or 2 classmates will meet with the same tutor every, Monday or what have you. And then you can stay and work with just your classmates and help each other. So it's a really good learning strategy and structure. Great, thank you. If I'm missing any questions at the very end, please, shout out to us. And as Kim said, they're going to show you emails for contact as well.
Okay.
Very important tool that is available to you is the University Alert System. If you are on your Launchpad, on your MyGMRCU portal, you will see the alert system as the exclamation point within a diamond, I guess is the best way to describe it. So once you click that icon, you will be able to add your cell phone number and then any important alerts from the university, such as campus is closed due to weather, what have you, that will get sent directly to your phone.
I think too, just, if there were any major COVID updates, we would be getting those through that alert system as well. Another thing that we're very, very excited about this year is Griffin Engage. So right now, I'm not sure if you are aware, but your new student orientation has been organized through this platform called Griffin Engage. And we're going to continue to use this platform moving forward for student activities, different types of events on campus. So please check out that little guy. It's almost like a not quite a gear, but like a serrated circle. You can see right down here next to the arrow. That's also on your navigation in your GMRCU portal. Check that out, and you'll be able to see the different types of groups and clubs that we have on campus. I know I'm pretty excited about it. Allison is the sponsor for the dance club, so there's information about for the dance team. So there's information in there for that. So this is a pretty exciting new tool where a lot of information is going to be organized for students.
Other important resources for you to know. Obviously, we talked about how to find out who your academic advisor is, and there are a lot of important reasons why you would speak to your advisor. You need to make any changes to your schedule. You need to know what classes to register for in the future. Additionally, your academic advisor can be somebody that you kind of build a rapport with. If you in the future find yourself in need of a good reference letter, your advisor is a good person to be able to reach out to, as long as you have taken the time to build that relationship with them. Your FYE instructor has a lot of important and great information about services and resources that are available on campus. So if you're ever not quite sure who to reach out to about a certain question, you can reach out to your FYE instructor for that. Other important resources would be your residence assistant or hall director if you're living on campus. Campbell Solution Center is our 100% go-to office for any questions regarding most things on campus. So you can reach out to them at Campbell Solution Center at gmercu.edu. We did talk about the Academic Resource Center. You can always email arc@gmercu.edu for academic coaching or tutoring appointments, or you can reach out to Kim or myself directly if you are interested in advising or coaching, and our emails are listed there. Lastly, counseling services are available to all students at no additional cost. So I believe that counseling services will have some on-ground availability as well as remote availability. So if you find yourself at any point throughout the semester feeling like you just need somebody to talk to vent to unload to gain some perspective from, you can feel free to reach out to counseling@gmercu.edu.
Thanks, Allison. And someone had just asked, how will they know the location of their in-person class?
So that actually is listed, and that's the one thing that kind of lets you know that your class is not fully remote. If you are in your self-service and you're looking at your calendar, if you click on the class and if you have a classroom there listed, that means that that's a hybrid course, and that's where you'll be meeting. Now, again, you would have to refer back to your class calendar to know which days you're meeting on campus. The likelihood of you meeting every class session on campus is not super, super high. For first year students, we really only have 3 classes that will be meeting. FYE is one of them, and then I believe accounting, and there's a digital media class as well. For nursing courses, now you might have some more courses that are meeting on campus. So definitely make sure that you're checking to see if there is a classroom designated for that particular class in self-service, that particular course in self-service.
And you might not see that listed right away when you're looking at your calendar. You'll see a link that says meeting information. Once you click that, it should open up a little drop down and you'll be able to see those details.
And Kim, when you were saying for nursing classes, you're referring to transfer students who may have some upper level nursing classes, correct?
Yes. So the first year nursing students will not have to worry about that right now.
Okay. And we have someone who really wants to know how many slides there are.
We're almost finished, but I wanted to mention that right now, can you just take a snapshot of this or a picture of this screen so that you can have those contact information, and then we're going to go to the next screen with a little bit more contact information, and then important dates, and then
Jokes on our hands here.
we're almost there. We got a heckler out there. So additional resources that are going to be necessary or may be necessary for you to reach out to on campus. Here is our Director of Accessibility Services. Definitely reach out to Brandy Crawford if you are eligible for accommodations or if you have questions about accessibility on campus. Career development, whether you are a first-year student, a transfer student, you're in your junior year, it's always nice to develop a relationship with career development because you know what? We're all always looking for jobs. I mean, it doesn't matter if we're a first-year student or later in our career, as well as internship information. They can help you with interviewing skills. So there's a lot of, and resume writing. So there's a lot of different resources that the career development can help you with. And it doesn't mean you have to be almost ready to graduate in order to reach out to them. In fact, in the first year experience class, we'll actually start to get to know the professionals in that office. If you or somebody that you know who's on camp or somebody you know who is at Gwinnett is struggling with food insecurity, we do have an on-campus food pantry called Catherine's Cupboard. Our Director of Campus Ministry, Jeff Wallace, actually runs that program, and you can reach him at wallace.j@gmercu.edu, or you can reach directly out to Catherine's Cupboard at gmercu.edu.
May I just,
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I would say, or not if you or someone you know is facing insecurity, but if you'd even like to donate to Catherine's Cupboard,
yes,
please
absolutely.
consider.
Yeah, and we've had a lot of students, especially, at the clean out times when they've donated to the pantry and really help their fellow student and their peers. Campus Ministry is also available. And I want to give a little plug just to make sure that you guys, if you haven't had the opportunity to do so today, please watch the videos that were available, the recordings that were available from Campus Ministry earlier today. I think you'll still have access to them through your Griffin Engage. There's a lot of really good information about the good things that we do on this campus and the opportunities that you have through Campus Ministry. Financial aid, if you don't already know this contact information, you need to add it somewhere where you can get to it quickly. Financial aid questions are very intricate, so they're not really questions for other people on campus other than the financial aid professionals, because everybody's package looks a little bit different, everybody's award looks a little different. So please, please, please reach out to financial aid at gmercu.edu if you are concerned about your paying for your tuition, how aid will be applied, etc. So we foresee that there will be some technology issues this semester, maybe a little bit different than the technology issues in the past. IT@gmercu.edu is available to answer many questions or to refer you to other resources that can help you with your technology. And then, of course, I think it's really important for all students to have access to the public safety phone number, just so if anything were to happen while you are on campus, that you have that immediate access to get in touch with our public safety officers, who really, really do you'll see they have such a presence on such, we have such a small campus, but you will notice that there is such a large presence of public safety officers on our campus to help keep us safe. And they've been working very, very hard in the midst of this pandemic to make sure that we're all prepared as we maybe go back to campus in the fall. So take a screenshot of this this page too. Okay.
Meredith, where will we be posting this?
That's what I was actually going to interrupt and ask Danielle if there's a common place, because even if we put it in the FYE shells, our transfer students will not have access to that. So we want to make sure that this is available somewhere for all first-year students, all new students.
Yes, first year and transfer students will have access to this video roughly Monday morning. It should be visible again. It just takes me a little bit to edit and then post back. But where you can find this is on the Griffin Engage orientation site. And then the event is called Makeup Orientation. And that's where any recorded sessions that were originally live are going to be available for you all to watch.
Great, thank you. And I really quickly wanted to just highlight the last two slides about resources, because so much of your success depends on you reaching out to those who can help you. And if you're not sure who that might be, please contact anyone of us. You can reach, Kim or Allison, their direct emails were on there. You can email arc@gmercy.u. Use your academic advisors for referrals. You're not expected to know everything. This is a new experience for all of you, even if you went to a college previously. So, and as you saw in my responses for a lot of you, I said, please email this person, because we want to get you connected to the right person. We don't want to just give you information that we think is right or is right at this moment. We want you to start making connections to get accurate information throughout the whole time here. So I just wanted to, again, highlight those last two slides. But if there's still something that we don't have, please don't hesitate to reach out to any of us. We're here to support all of you. And this very important next slide, because everyone wants to know about Thanksgiving break, including me. I'm just kidding.
Fall break too. Very important.
Fall break. Well, that's not a break for some of us.
That's true.
Screenshot, save it, frame it, put it on your wall. The first day of class is Monday. Woohoo. The last day to add or drop a class from your schedule to make any changes at all to your schedule is September 8th. Fall break will be Monday, October 19th and Tuesday, October 20th. Not have any classes on those 2 days. A little bit of a long weekend there. And then registration begins in November on the 9th. So keep that date in your back pocket, but make sure that you are reaching out and speaking to your advisor well in advance, so that you have everything ready to go for your registration. Additionally, if you have any holds on your account, you'll be able to see that on self-service, so that'll also need to be taken care of before you can register. Again, we'll go into more detail about that once we get closer to registration. The last day to withdraw from a class, which is different than adding and dropping a class. When we add and drop classes, they're they're just off of our schedule. We can pretend like I never signed up for that history class, right? But once the add drop period is over, you're kind of locked into your schedule. If you need to withdraw from a class, and a reason to withdraw from a class may be that you have some medical issues, you're all of your classes, or you are struggling in a class and you're afraid you're not going to be able to earn a passing grade, you can withdraw from that class. The last day to do that is the 23rd of November. Again, this is something that you will need to do with your advisor. Thanksgiving break begins on the 25th of November, which is a Wednesday, and goes through the Friday. So the Monday after Thanksgiving, we will be back on campus. And the last day of regular classes is the 14th of December. So that should be the last day that you need to appear on a Zoom or appear in an in-class session. And then finals week will begin after that.
And we just had question about Labor Day, and we did have a confirmation that they do not have class on Labor Day. It's a great day though to go through all your syllabi, reflect on the previous week, get caught up, you know, or get work ahead. But there are no official classes, traditional classes on Labor Day.
You may not have class, but you might have work to do.
That's it. And here's the slide that someone has been looking for. Someone out there in that chat. I just wanted to mention really quickly, I know Meredith had said that we would talk about the spaces for remote learning. We actually had said it before. I just want to repeat it again. The spaces for remote learning are available on your COVID-19 website for students, and also first year students will have that available in their Blackboard shell. I can tell you that the Keys Library is one area for remote learning. You will have to register for that remote learning in the Keys Library, but there's also space available in St. Bernard's, which is one of our buildings, and that's room 21 and 22, as well as some space available in University Hall. The building space other than the library will be available on first come, first served basis. So, you know, just make sure that you're planning ahead if you need to go to a remote learning space before or after an on-campus meeting. So questions?
Okay, so we're getting, where do freshmen park their cars? I know in the past they were required to park at Hobbit House. Do we know if that is still a requirement this semester?
Again, I would refer students to either the public safety webpage or public safety staff at gmercu.edu for those specific parking questions.
Okay.
Also, the great thing about having to get checked every day in the booth when you drive in is even if you look the morning before where you're supposed to park, but then suddenly you forget, there is always a public safety officer there as soon as you drive in to ask that question if you suddenly forget when you arrive on campus.
Very true. Thanks, Daniel.
Someone had asked, how early should we be for a class on campus? I'm not sure. It'll depend on the day and the time of your class, you know, how quickly you'll even be able to get through the checkpoint. I'm hesitant to say anything specific. I mean, I would give yourself 20 to 30 minutes right now as you know, there may be other cars trying to get on campus.
I would say that stands true for most semesters anyway, because one of the obstacles that we won't have this year is finding parking space, because there are going to be so few classes on campus. So that's always been, you know, an issue in the past, is like finding the parking space. So you still have to allot yourself time to do that. So now we're going to be allotting ourselves time to get through the checkpoint. So, you know, you always kind of want to have that 20-25 minute buffer. So if you have to be on campus for a remote class ahead of time, still give yourself that buffer.
We have a good question here that someone may have the answer to. If a student needs to go to the library just to print, do we know how that will work out? They can
still enter the library, yeah.
Just to print. They don't need to reserve a spot because you're not taking up a table or a seat.
Correct.
But just to print something. And then someone had asked about visitors on campus. Danielle, I thought I heard Brian Dumpy-Culp yesterday saying there are definitely no visitors in the res halls, and I thought we were limiting visitation and visitors on campus altogether. Do you have any further information on that?
Yes, to my knowledge, I believe there are no guests unless you are moving in or like settling in on Sunday, and then they're kind of asking that your guests still stay in their vehicle. But double check with Brian for any exceptions. Right now, Student Activities is also operating that when we start having in-person activities for you all, we are not going to allow guests either at some of our events, but that potentially might change in the spring semester. But as of right now, I believe there are no guests on campus.
Great, thank you. There were a couple questions that came in at the same time, so I want to make sure I got everything. Mm-hmm. Other questions? I know everyone is probably tired and wants to.
Saw some questions about the
dining hall. Is that what you're gonna say, Allison?
Yeah.
Yes. Danielle, do you have that information yet on which eating spaces are going to be open?
Yes. So also tomorrow there is a great session that's pre-recorded for you all to click through all of the dining information, and that has all of the most up-to-date dining information with COVID-19. So you can even take a look at that over lunch if you would like, if you are curious and don't want to wait until tomorrow. You will be able to eat in our dining facility that's located Waldron, second floor. There is a limited capacity of people who can be eating inside during a given time, but I do believe that you should be able to eat right there. In addition, Pepperazzi, which is on the first floor of Waldron, will also be open for more grab and go to get your food if you're on the floor.
And along those same lines, someone had asked about gluten-free options in the dining hall. I know I've seen gluten-free options there in the past. So I would assume that they will be continuing, but absolutely let them know at the dining hall, let Parkhurst know that you have a gluten allergy or any allergy for anyone, and they will work with students.
And I see a question about coming to campus to purchase books. I do believe that there will be somebody at the bookstore taking orders, the books that you want, and then going and getting the books for you. I believe that's how they're working that. But you also do have in your portal, if you click on, I believe it's Campus Resources, over the navigation area, there is a link to the online bookstore if you would prefer to use that as well.
And it looks like another question about paying for copies and printing. And again, I don't know the exact amount or the exact number of pages that you do get for free, but it is 200 or 300 pages for free. Copies, I am not sure if the library charges for making copies. And they do have a scanner though, so if you find something, you can scan it and send it to yourself. And again, being very cautious, they may, have you make a request and they may actually do that themselves so that you're not touching anything, but they will work with you in the library for copies and all. Laundry is free, correct? It is my understanding that in the resident halls, if you are a resident student, that laundry is free. Can a parent come?
Good news.
I know. I remember having to get my quarters back in the day. Can a parent come into my room on Sunday just to help bring stuff? Danielle, do you know how that's going to be worked out?
Give me 1 second to check my email. I believe I have it, but I don't want to tell you wrong information.
Yes.
Yes, I believe they said 30 minutes, but it's only one person.
Yes.
And if you have other guests, they need to stay in their vehicle unless you get pre-approval.
Okay,
yeah, we have
great.
some students answering each other, which is lovely. This is what we were looking for, a little bit of community. Tyler Long looks like he's hungry. And again, for the registering for the remote learning spaces, there will be a link on all first year, the FYE announcement page, but you do not have to register for the spaces in St. Bernard's or in University Hall. Again, the COVID website has those exact rooms listed, but we will also you can email me if you'd like, and I could just send you like that exact information. So logan.k@gmercu.edu. Just in case the link isn't, the website's not updated, I can give you the QR code and the link to register for space in the library as well as the other rooms.
And I'm just thinking
It's also available
about our
on the
transfer students though, who won't have the FYE class and the FYE shell. Kim, if you provide me with that information, perhaps I can add it under resources in the Ready Set Remote class. That way all students, not just new students, but transfers and first year students will also be able to access those sign up links.
The sign up link that's only required for the library is also available on the library's website.
Perfect. Okay.
And when you're on campus, there will also be QR codes posted around campus so that you can reserve those spaces in the library. Again, you only need to reserve a space in the library. The other two locations are first come, first served.
And I feel like we're jumping around a little bit, going back to the having visitors on campus. But someone is asking about being picked up from campus, and if the person stays in their car. And I would say absolutely. Danielle, I don't know if you have further information on that, but when they come in, the person who would be picking up the student would obviously have to stop and talk to public safety at the little little booth, right?
Yep.
And then are we expected to have textbooks before starting class, or will we have time to get them? And I always recommend get them in advance, as long as they're available. I know some people had said that they've put their orders in but hadn't received them yet. So you may
I will say that I do recommend that you check your syllabi though. You should have that available to you. So I do like to see a little cross-referencing between the actual syllabi that's available from your instructors and your Blackboard shells, just in case that the bookstore does not necessarily have the exact materials available for you. So just make sure that you're double checking your syllabi.
And there are a whole lot of questions / comments about pancakes, and I do not have the answer to
pancakes and
that.
cheesesteaks. So yes, I've seen cheesesteaks on campus. And yes, I'm sure that there are pancakes because I don't normally eat breakfast on campus, but I can't imagine that pancakes wouldn't be part of it. So it looks like people are hungry. I know for the first year students, we will be seeing you again pretty shortly, in about an hour. Where we can certainly answer some more specific questions for academic, for your, preparing for classes next week. But if we have any pressing questions, pizza and French fries, yep, we have them.
There's also a wonderful salad bar. I'm not sure, how that's going to look.
Yeah, I mean, we really enjoy the salad bar, so.
All right, I don't see any other questions that we can answer at this time. All right, thank you everyone. Good luck. Don't go back to sleep or anything because you've got lots of good stuff coming up. Right, Danielle?
Yep, we have FYE in the afternoon, and then we have a couple more pre-recorded sessions in the after FYE, and then tonight you all will have an additional orientation leader group time, and we have trivia as well for everyone.
Great.
So hope
I just
to
want
see everyone at those events. Sorry.
Yeah, I just want to say I did see someone, and just a real quick question about backorder books. Any textbook questions that you have, I would urge you to email the campus bookstore. If you don't hear back, I mean, give them about, give them a day. If you don't hear back, just forward your initial request. And then if you have any concerns that the bookstore has said, oh, it's not in yet or anything like that, then please let your instructor know as soon as possible. Communication with your faculty members is key. They want to know that you are making the outreach and that you aren't just blowing off, buying a book or something like that. So contact the bookstore with these questions because these are really important questions, but also let your instructor know if you have any concerns. But otherwise, we appreciate all the thank yous that are coming in. And if I may speak for all of us, I want to say thank you to all of you for choosing Gwynedd Mercy University. Thanks for, letting us talk over your lunchtime. We really do appreciate it. We think this information is important to deliver, but we hope more so that it was really useful and that you got what you needed. We're not, we're not saying goodbye completely. We're just saying goodbye for now. Reach out to any of us for any information. So thank you.
Have a great day, you guys. Well, we'll see you shortly. Okay. So I'm just going to stop that.